Spirit World, issue 2, Alyssa Wong writing with Haining on the art. So I actually wasn't super into the first issue of this, but there wasn't a lot of books this week, so I thought I'll read issue 2 anyway. Why
Do you hate it more?
I like it less than the first issue.
That's significantly tamer than hating it more, though.
I don't want to be that harsh. I don't think it's like, it's not trash or anything, but I just, the book fundamentally is not for me. And one of the things I talked about in the first issue, there's a lot of things on its own that I could have liked if they were more drawn out. Like, for example, in the first issue, Constantine and Xanthe go to like a sorcerer's home or whatever it is, right? And some spooky stuff happens and there's like bollocks going on. And see if that was like half the issue and it was building up slowly and being kind of a creepy horror story, and then something creepy happened that was spooky, I'd be kind of into it. But this issue reminded me how I felt in that everything's just so very blatantly up front. Like, immediately it's all the supernatural stuff, and immediately this is how everything works. And I mean, the cliffhanger last issue was Xanthe's mother running into them, and then this issue more or less starts with this awkward family dinner. And within a few pages, Xanthe's storming out, but their mother has like a binding hex thing, so there's supernatural qualities to the family as well. I don't know. Like, I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's so much like just going on here. Like, I like more a sprinkling of this supernatural stuff rather than just, immediately there's just all this stuff going on.
Yeah, I think it is definitely fair to say that's a taste preference thing on you, as opposed to this being objectively a bad approach. Because I think
that's fair. That's totally
because this
fair.
is not trying to be there's something mysterious going on. No, this is an out and out fantasy book. Like, from the offset, it's very in your face with it.
Yes, and
that was a choice they made that maybe works less for you, but isn't necessarily a bad choice.
I just like, for me, like, fantasy elements, when I do like them, they're better for me when it is a more grounded world they're surrounded by, because they feel more special in a grounded surrounding. Whereas, whereas here it's like, we're just going back and forth between the spirit world willy nilly. Like, everyone's got magic.
I think the problem is with what you were saying a minute ago is you've kind of conflated two things. One, which is a legitimate problem or a legitimate critique, and one is your preference.
Mm-hmm.
So the point of it, it's kind of all in your face. There's a lot of fancy elements all immediately there. I think that's that's not a fair critique of the book. That's your preference. But the bit about the pacing of the story elements, like, okay, we're in the family meal, and their mum pulls out a hex to and Xanthe tries stopping it after like 3 or 4 pages, saying that maybe that's too rushed as a character beat. I think is a fair critique.
Especially since
I think you're conflating the two a little bit.
Yeah, and we did end the last issue on that. Oh shit, their mother's here, and that feels like it should be a big deal, and it feels like it's kind of like, the impression I'm getting from this is that Xanthe died as a young child, and they've been under the impression they've been dead the whole time. So it feels kind of weird that this was more like Xanthe ran away when they were like 18, and this is like maybe a few years later, awkwardly run into each other. It had a bit of a different vibe, and obviously
the family definitely knows that they're dead.
Yes, and obviously it had that bit with the sister, where the sister's like, I never knew you. I was
born after you died.
Yeah,
I think the sister says that.
But the sister says, no, but I've been giving you this little like wreath thing at your grave, or I made this for you because we don't really go to your grave anymore. And Xanthe's like, oh, you're why I'm still connected to this world. Like, you're this tether because you still care about me. And that's like a sweet enough moment on its own. But I do think some of these ideas could be like fleshed out so they mean more, ultimately. But I mean, like I say, that's the thing where, like you're saying, there's the two things here. One's a taste thing, one's an actual critique. I do think that because I have both of those, they're naturally fusing into one
compound problem. A little bit, yeah. And that's right. I think my biggest, because start off, I'm a lot more positive on the book overall than you are, because it does play more to my tastes. I'm very much into, screw it, this is a big fantasy world with monsters and the dead and everything, just and hexes from the off. I'm all in for that. I agree with the pacing for some of the character beats being a little too fast, like the family meal. Like on one hand, Xanthi's being treated shittily. They're being obviously dead named a lot. I really like the way it letters that with just like the scroll instead of telling us what the name was.
Yeah,
I like that, and obviously they should be responding as such, but also at the same time it's like, okay, it's like 4 pages into this book. It was just a big cliffhanger.
Know exactly Xanthi's like history with this? Like, I don't think it's come up too much yet, has it?
In what way?
Well, like the whole, I didn't even know they had a dead name. Like that was surprising to me when it kind of came up. Was this something that was new?
I don't know. I'm getting this from context as well.
Yeah, I got it from context what was going on, obviously, but I just wasn't sure. I'm
assuming again because I don't think I read the Lazarus Planet issue with them in.
Yeah, I mean, right from the start they've been referred to as they and them. So like, yes. I got non-binary at least like immediately. And
I don't know if it was clear before that they had a different name before, but I think it was very clear in this scene. Like immediately, like the very first time it did it, I was like, "What's going on here?" Because it was like the second panel of the scene, but by the end of the page, I'm like, oh, "Okay."
It was Xanthi's reaction to it being used over and over again. It made it clear. So if this was the reveal of this, if this was explaining to the audience that this is a thing, then that was a good way of doing it. I'm just questioning, have I forgotten like a tease from before?
I'm not 100% sure. But also it's because you have the dead name, and then it even puts in bold, we have our little girl back. And then you have just the reaction of them sitting staring at the bowl, like, fists clenched. And it's Constantine who pops up, like, what's going on here? Yeah.
So it was interesting. I guess because when I just thought non-binary, I didn't necessarily think a non-binary person would have a dead name. So that's why I'm thinking, there's more to their,
I guess
sexuality and stuff that I'm.
They can if they want to.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, technically, anyone could choose their name, I suppose. But I don't know. I don't know if I just went just for the fun of it and went and legally changed my name to, I don't know, Star Killer or something. Like, I don't know if I'd refer to Peter as a dead name. That would feel a bit disrespectful.
No, it wouldn't.
Who actually have dead names.
I agree, but I think in this case, it's intrinsically tied to their identity, which does make it that. And 2, there's almost a literal dead name here, as opposed to just the way we're using it already.
That's a good point. Yeah, because
they literally died.
Yeah, but they're more alive than the other spirits seemingly as well, because they're jumping back and forward all willy nilly, like so. Yeah,
like there's definitely something going on. I think like I'm really enjoying all the stuff with Xanthi so far in this book. I'm really into it. And conversely, I'm also really enjoying all the stuff in the other stuff with Cass. But it feels very separate, and I wish the 2 plots were a little bit more cohesive right now. I think that's my biggest problem with this issue, is that they are so kind of just running on separate lines right now.
Yeah, and they obviously, it seems like they're probably going to like merge a bit more next time, because at the end of the issue, or towards the end of the issue, Xanthi and Constantine do come into the spirit world. But and I guess that was the other thing that I wasn't feeling here so much, is that they go to, like, Cass and co go to like the local kingpin or something in spirit world.
Yeah, they're in like the underworld. So,
yeah,
obviously they're in the spirit world anyway, but there's like the shady part of town even there.
Yeah. And it's all this eccentric type character. So the characters don't actually run into each other. There's that of both, but they're all in spirit world at the end. And there's a big tentacle eye monster thing chasing Constantine and Xanthi into the spirit world.
The fact that you throw in some Lovecraftian monsters into this now, I'm even more into it.
Yeah, but I want to feel existential dread if there's a Lovecraftian monster.
That's fair. But all those eyes, I don't know. I think the part of the appeal for me here is just it's a visual feast. Like the showcase, it's a gorgeous looking book. I absolutely love the art in this. With the one caveat of Cass looking kind of young.
Yeah, that's just the art style, I guess. That's
the art style, yeah. But like,
because even that, in fact,
I don't think
that was one of my complaints actually with Constantine and either the first issue or maybe it was the Lazarus thing. But I didn't get it was Constantine until they said it was Constantine for like a few panels.
Even with that, like with the coat and the tie.
No, because when you first see him, he's sitting at like a desk in whatever the previous issue was, and it wasn't clear until someone said who he was. I'm like, wait, that's Constantine. He looks like 22. Like,
he's like a slightly younger looking Constantine, but not like awfully. But like, I don't think Xanthi looks particularly young. I think their family at the start of this issue looks like they look like middle-aged parents, right? You know, they look appropriate.
Sure, I'm not disputing that.
It's Cass who looks particularly young for me, but you know, it's something I can overlook. You know, it's not like a deal breaker when the rest of the art is that good, and the colors in particular, I think, are absolutely gorgeous, and they really make it pop. I don't know. Sebastian Cheng did the colors, and absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. No, I mean the art's obviously a very strong style. It's just very consistent, and like I can't, like no one can accuse it of being house style or just being sort of.
Yeah, no, you can definitely come into this and say it's not to your tastes again, because that's, you know, always a preference thing with someone's art style. But it is a style, and you know that was a choice that was made, and I definitely appreciate it. Not just this one, but the other books that this launched with, like, you know, in this Legends line or whatever they're calling it, I think. The We Are Legends, they all feel very unique in terms of like DC are putting out these books, but they don't feel like anything else, and I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah. I mean, this is like just cemented that this is Melly's favorite of the three, and that's fine. Like I read issue 2 because it was a quiet week. Because of the Night Terror stuff, I feel like next month won't be like that. So this is probably my last issue of Spirit World, and I just kind of read it this month because of more courtesy than anything else.
That's fair. I think it's fair to say that, like, having the variety of those 3 books is good. You're bound to like at least one of them, whoever you are. I think objectively the quality of all of them is at least good. Like, it's at least a perfectly good readable issue, and then it's down to kind of taste as to which ones you like more. Maybe one of them is maybe slightly better written than some of the others, for example. But I think, you know, when these were announced, this was always the one that you were going to like the least / possibly outright hate. And the fact that you don't outright hate it is maybe a testament that it's not that bad.
Yeah, I don't really want to read any more of it, so don't take that too positively. But
I mean, the fact that you even came back for a second issue, though, like, when this was announced, I expected you to get halfway through the first issue and then put it down in rage.
Nah. I gave it a proper go. But anyway, what are you giving Spirit World issue 2?
I'm going to give it a 7. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm here for more of it.
Yeah, I'll give it. I don't know. I feel weird giving this one anything because it's mostly a taste thing. But for me, it's like a 5, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah. But asterisks, it's mostly taste reasons rather than anything else.